Bitcoin is preparing its next big move. Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to analyze what's going on with Bitcoin and the rest of the markets. We are going to see quickly the American indices and some of the important stocks and gold and silver. First of all, as usual, remember that this is not financial advice. This is just my own opinion. These are my personal views on the markets. And please do make your own research before trading. All right, let's go. Okay, so here we are with Bitcoin. Remember last week we were somewhere here. This is the last Monday. We were somewhere here, and I said that we were everything was looking bearish at that moment. However, I mentioned two different scenarios. So we had this key level, and we were around here, and I said, well, if we break this key level and stay down here, the most likely is that we come and touch this other key level. We even measured that with a Fibonacci, I remember, and then we put that our target was somewhere around here. But I also mentioned that we draw this box, that if we cross this box and then stay up from this box, then we would have a bullish scenario, and that is what happened. So last week, last week, I don't remember exactly when, we had important news on the developing conflict in the Middle East, that they agreed on a peace deal, and that's what impulsed all the markets to the upside. So we had this big impulse, and then the market stayed up here, as I mentioned. So now, what we have now? Now, well, we see here that we are finding some resistance here around these levels, because look, we have all these wicks here, that these candle wicks here that show selling pressure. So, and we are seeing today another selling pressure here. We can also see this trend line that goes around here. For instance, we can say that we have this trend line, and we are forming, then in this case, we are forming this compression triangle, right? So we have this baseline here, this trend line here, and then we see if we come down here to retest the baseline, and from here we go up and break the triangle, or from here we go cross down. So of course there will be probably some moves here, and then something like this and decrease. I don't know exactly, or it can be that directly we break down from here. So we'll see, we have to see. So at the moment it's looking that it is going to come to get this liquidity, because look at this big candle. When you have big candles like this, they are normally filled back in, like this one. Look, you have this big candle, and then it was filled again. You have this big candle, and then here later was filled. We have this big candle that left this fair value gap that we talked about last video, and then here recently was filled in. So it looks likely that we come to fill in this fair value gap that is around here. So we might come down, retest this level, and see if we continue up or we break down. So at the moment, that is what is looking more likely. However, as it always the case, this is what I see more likely, but you also have to prepare the not so likely case. So the other case is that we just come here, retest these levels that are quite close, and from here, let me draw it for you. So we just retest these levels that are here, and from here we break up this triangle to look for potential new highs. So to go all the way to the top. So that can be the other situation that it's also likely. It has, for me, it has less chance, less probability, but it can always happen. Remember that we are always here in the markets on the two scenarios. You have always to consider a bullish and a bearish scenario. Right, so now let's go quickly to ETH. ETH, what we have? Well, ETH, the same. We were here last week trying to fill in this fair value gap, which for Ethereum is still more gap to fill than for Bitcoin, so the chance to come down and fill in this gap still higher for Ethereum than for Bitcoin. So because we only fill like a quarter of it, so if you can see here. So then we have this range. You can probably say, okay, we have this range here in Ethereum that is an important range that we've been growing for some days now. So we came down, we broke down the range, then we had the positive news here, we recovered the range, we came up here again, and now we are in the middle of the range. So we are undecisive of if going to the top or coming back to the bottom and test this bottom. So this will depend on what's the next Bitcoin move. If Bitcoin comes to the base of its channel, then to the base of the triangle that we just draw, then it's likely that Ethereum will come to this bottom part of the channel, and then from here see if it bounces back or breaks to the downside. So let's be attentive to these moves on Ethereum. Right, so now we have well, let's check quickly all the alts, because the dominance, Bitcoin dominance, is doing something interesting, right? So the Bitcoin dominance has been going up a lot since look at the bottom was here around September, December 2022, and since then it hasn't stopped going up. We had a break here, we had a bit of a pump for the altcoins, but it's continued its way up until now that we are at levels, really high levels for the crypto market. We are around 65% at the moment. So we are in the middle of these two key zones, two key levels, resistance and support level. So from here, it can be that we start coming down to retest this level, and then this is going to be good for the alts. Or if we continue going up, this is going to be bad for the alts, as we've seen that the alts been underperforming in relation to Bitcoin. Is because of this dominance, Bitcoin dominance going up. We were expecting that from here it wouldn't cross this level. Check how we came down from this level, but then recovered this level and went up again. So now we are expecting to see what is going to be doing the dominance, if the dominance is going to retest this and break down, or continue its way up. So that is going to influence the alts. Some alts started to recover. For instance, you have Solana here. That Solana, well, we are bound in this range, but it came down here and then started to recover a little bit. But we'll see. We have to see again what's Bitcoin going to be doing. If Bitcoin is going to go down, then probably Solana is also going to retest this key level again. So, and if the dominance of Bitcoin dominance starts to continues up, then we will again see the altcoins going to retest their low key level. So the XRP, we have the same case. We remember we draw this box time ago. We had this middle of the range here that we haven't managed to pass this middle of the range. So if Bitcoin is coming down, then XRP is going to retest this level. And look at all this liquidity here. So for XRP, this is a big danger zone, because this liquidity here is going to be attracting the price down here. So if Bitcoin happens to be on a bearish scenario that goes to the next key level, I'm talking about this other key level like 91,000, then XRP is the most likely that will come and fill in this will come and fill in these gaps and take some of this liquidity. It came down here to partially take some of this liquidity, but there's still some liquidity around here. So let's pay attention to what's Bitcoin doing, and according to that, we will see what the alts are going to do. On the other hand, as I said, we always have to consider the two scenarios. If Bitcoin happens to break up to the trend line and stays up the trend line that we just saw, then XRP, the most likely is that it will break this middle of the range and come up here. Right, let's go quickly to the indices, American indices. Let's go to the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones, remember where we had this Fibonacci here to see where was probably our retracement. As I said, didn't happen because of the positive news, so it rallied. So the market rallied to the upside. So we had the last week all the way up. So basically the whole week we were going up, and then we are looking for these upper levels of the range. So now we are retesting this. Look at this previous peak here. We are retesting this level and seeing what is going to happen this week. If this week we are going to have a little bit of a retracement, or if we are going to go straight up. That is going to be seen today, later during the when the American market opens. We will see what direction is this week going to take. If we are going to have a retracement just for the week, we can measure this move. As I said, with a Fibonacci here, we can check this move and see where is more likely to come for this retracement. Look, we have this candle here, and this corresponds precisely to the golden zone. So here is the likely scenario is that if we have a retracement, I'm saying if because we are not sure. If we have a retracement, it's likely that we touch one of these levels, the 0.382 or the 0.5 or the 0.618, if it depends on how deep is the retracement. But we have to see when the market starts in America. The US 500, the same scenario. We had this that is invalid now, is invalidated, sorry, that this is invalidated scenario because we rallied, so we form another high. So we form another high. Indeed, for the S&P 500, we broke the all-time high. So we are exploring new territory, so we don't know where we can go because it is all new territory until we start forming structure up here. Then we will know where we can go and measure some levels. But if there are a retracement is going to happen, we can measure again Fibonacci and see where are we going to go. Here are our golden zones, and here is our first stop and golden zones where we could retrace. US 2000, well, we consolidated well above this level, above this key level, key resistance. And now, look, we are very close to the same peak of this Fibonacci that we drew last week. So we are at the same level. We formed this. We didn't pass this same top, and then we potentially forming a double top, or we are going to break here and explore these other levels that are here. So if we're gonna have a retracement, we have to check if we come back again down from this key level. That would be a big momentum to the downside for the Russell, because then we will lose this level, and then we will have to come and explore these lower levels of this range. So to probably explore this key level, as we have all this liquidity trap here, we might come here, which is the 0.382 level. We might come here to explore this if we come down. I say if. Otherwise, we continue our way up and we continue to these higher levels. US Tech, remember the US Tech also, we broke this trend line, confirmed this trend line here, and then we broke the all-time high, and now we are exploring new uncharted territory like the S&P 500. So we have again this Fibonacci that is now invalidated. Oh, sorry guys, is invalidated, this Fibonacci. Let's delete it, and we have a new swing up. So we have this new swing up, and again we can measure where we can come. Probably we'll retest this or this previous top and then continue up, or we just go up for a few days and then form structure at the top. Right, so let's check quickly gold and silver, and with that, well, we can check some stories, we can still check some stocks, but let's do it quickly. Right, so gold had a big crash last week, inverse to the market. So it looks like people are, with the positive news, people are abandoning gold and investing this money in stocks. So because we can see this rotation, while the markets are going up, gold is going down. So it's probably happening this capital rotation. So what is likely to happen with gold? Look, well, we crossed this trend line, we broke to the downside this trend line. We formed three tops here, 1, 2, 3 tops here, and we didn't break, so that's why we were rejected and we started to come down. Now we touched this important level here. Let me draw it for you. We touched this important level and we stopped precisely at this level. Now we are going to retest this trend line, right? So we are retesting this trend line, and we'll see if we can recover this trend line and continue up, or if we go down to retouch this other key level, which corresponds, by the way, we have our Fibonacci. This is still valid, corresponds to our golden zone, the 0.618 area. So if we reject this trend line, then it's likely that we will come down and check these lower levels. Right, let's check what are the silver, sorry. Silver, well, silver, we found rejection at this important key zone. That is an old key zone that comes all the way from this peak, and then we are rejecting that, the same as gold. So remember, silver moves similar to gold, but with a bigger move. So it has a little bit more volatility than gold, but it basically follows gold patterns. So, well, except when there is a divergence, of course, there's not 100%, but you can see somehow a bit of a relation there. So gold starts to come down, silver is also coming down. So silver had an aggressive move before, something that gold didn't have, but now silver is finding important resistance here, and it is likely to come and fill in these gaps that we talked before and get the liquidity that is trapped here. If gold happens to come down, well, silver is also gonna get this liquidity here. Right, so let's check some important stocks and then we finish. So let's say Apple, well, Apple, we see that Apple has been lagging because of the economic situation with the tariffs and how is this going to potentially affect the consumers, how the tariffs will affect the consumers in America. So that's why I guess Apple's been underperforming to the other tech stocks. So, but we see here that Apple at the moment is forming here a strong base. So if Apple manages to stay above this level, then we can see a test to fill this gap that we have here, this important gap that we still have here that was not 100% closed, and probably come and close this gap. Otherwise, if the market starts to go down, if the whole market starts to go down, and then we see that the tariffs at the end, because I think soon there's going to be the resolution of the 60-day or 90-day period to negotiate, to reconsider the tariffs. If the tariffs are not positive, I mean, if the result of the tariff decision is not positive for the market, then we can probably see that Apple will break this level and come and retest this lower key level. So semiconductors have been performing well recently, especially since we had this positive news last week on the Middle East conflict. So then semiconductors, all semiconductors started to go up. We have this AMD, for instance, that crossed this level and went up. Now we are finding some resistance here. We'll see if we manage to come up these levels and retest these other important resistance zone, or if we start from here to go down and retest this lower level. That we have to see how is the, as I said, the tariffs going to develop. Amazon is also observing the same pattern. Then it managed to break this key level, and then is trying to stay above this key level. Now it probably is going to consolidate around here and explore higher levels. ASML, another semiconductor company that broke this level and then is trying to stay above these levels, and so on. So we can see the same. Coinbase had a very important big move because we broke all these key levels. Look, Coinbase started here when we had the previous crash of the tariffs in April, started recovering this level, then this other level, now this other level. So that's, and then we had this huge cup and handle here. So if Coinbase now confirms this level and doesn't come down again, then it can be a potential good impulse for Coinbase. Otherwise, if we break, then Coinbase is going to suffer. We have a lot of liquidity here with Coinbase, so that is a danger at the moment for Coinbase, is attracting the price down. But let's see if the investors manage to keep it up here. Google was lagging also to the other semiconductor companies, but recently started to have positive news, and see how this broke this level and consolidated above. Now we are retesting this other key level, and we'll see if we manage to break above or not. Microsoft is going for all-time highs. Microsoft broke this peak long time ago, well, not long time ago, I mean days ago, and continues going up. However, we have this huge gap here. That if we have a bearish market, a bearish scenario, it will likely come and fill in this gap. And Netflix is having the same behavior, is making all-time highs all of the time, so it's going up, and no way, I mean, from my point of view, there's no real need to short these stocks at the moment, because you don't know where are they going to stop. So you are just fueling the longs if you have to close your shorts. So that's why I personally don't try to guess where is the peak, and don't short these stocks. Nvidia, another semiconductor company that we said with semiconductors, had a fantastic time. So semiconductor, another new all-time high for Nvidia. Nvidia has been going up, and it looks like at the moment again is exploring new all-time highs in uncharted territories, and we don't know where is this going to stop. So again, I personally don't short these stocks until you have a clear scenario. Tesla, on the other hand, we have here that we had this peak, and we didn't manage to break this level. So that's why Tesla, we can see that Tesla on the other hand is going down, probably retesting these lower levels. So we have to see. Tesla is the only one that is going against the market at the moment. So we have to see on that front. We have to see the fundamentals of Tesla. You have to see what's going on with their offers, with their markets, and see if it's potentially a recovery when we get to these levels, or if it will continue crashing. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one.